Whenever you open Chrome, play music, or save a file, have you ever wondered what is actually running your computer behind the scenes? That invisible system is called the operating system. And this is the first video in a series where we'll understand how your computer really works, step by step. So don't worry if some terms feel new. Everything will become clear as we go. Let's start simple. An operating system, or OS, is basically a middle layer between your apps and your hardware. You run applications like a browser, a game, or a music player. These apps need hardware like the CPU, memory, disk, keyboard, and more. But apps don't directly talk to hardware. The operating system sits in between and manages everything. Think of it like a manager that handles all communication so that your apps don't have to deal with the complexity of hardware. Now, before we understand what the OS does, let's quickly see what happens when you run a program. When you write a program, say in C, it gets converted into an executable file. This file contains instructions that the CPU can understand, along with the data your program needs. When you run it, the CPU starts executing these instructions one by one. It fetches an instruction from memory, executes it, and stores the result back. This keeps happening very fast, millions of times per second. Now here's the important question. Who loads this program into memory? Who tells the CPU where to start? Who handles input from your keyboard or saves your files? That's exactly what the operating system does. First, it loads your program from disk into memory. Then it sets up the CPU so execution can begin. And it also manages all the devices like your keyboard, mouse, and storage. Without the operating system, your program wouldn't even start. Now, let's understand something interesting. When you open multiple apps, like a browser, music player, and editor, it feels like everything is running at the same time. But your computer usually has only one CPU. So how is this possible? The operating system creates something called a process, which is simply a running program, and then it rapidly switches the CPU between different processes. So fast that it feels like everything is running simultaneously. Each program feels like it has the whole CPU to itself. This is one of the most powerful ideas in operating systems, and we'll explore it in detail in the next videos. Now let's talk about memory. Every program needs memory to store its data and instructions. But here's something interesting. Each program thinks it has its own separate memory space, even though in reality, all programs are sharing the same physical memory. The operating system manages all of this behind the scenes. This concept is called virtual memory. Don't worry if that sounds confusing right now. We'll break it down clearly in future videos. Finally, how does your computer talk to hardware like disks, keyboards, or network devices? The operating system uses something called device drivers. These are special parts of the OS that understand how to communicate with hardware. So when you press a key or open a file, the OS handles everything for you. It also manages something called a file system, which is how your data is stored on disk. Again, we'll explore this in detail later. So to summarize, the operating system is like the brain that manages your entire computer. It makes things easy to use, uses resources efficiently, and keeps programs isolated from each other. And over time, operating systems have evolved from simple programs to the powerful systems we use today. So next time you open an app, remember, it's not just running on its own. Your operating system is managing everything behind the scenes. In the next video, we'll understand one of the most important concepts in operating systems. What exactly is a process, and how your computer runs multiple programs at once. So make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.